Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the weekly comic book roundup. We've covered this week's X-Men books as well as this week's Star Wars book, and let me just say, every other book this week has got a high bar to measure up to when it comes after Inferno. But yeah, anyway, moving on to the rest of well, not the rest, but more of this week's Marvel books. Starting off with Miles Morales' SpiderMan number 30. Which is celebrating the 10th anniversary of Miles Morales. And, let's take a quick look at that cover. That's, get a look at the new costume. Overall, I like it. It does. There's a weird thing where, like, depending on the artist, I like it a lot, or I don't care for it. I like it here, though. I'm not sure what I think about the turtleneck portion of it, but that'd be the only complaint I really have with it. Also, it makes me think also of the 90s Scarlet Spider outfit, which was a sleeveless hoodie with a spider, which had a red bodysuit, sleeveless gray hoodie with a spider on it, and yeah. I hope we're not going towards some kind of we're going to stop calling Miles Spider-Man and start calling him the Scarlet Spider, because that no, let's not. So we got 3 stories, as this is an anniversary special, kind of. One has Spider-Man swinging across town, up for a scholarship. The new spider suit looks feels great, and if he does say so, he looks good. And he's got a date with Starling. So he's making his way across town. There's an explosion though, so got to check that out. It's a Mandroid. It's a Mandroid armor attacking one of the shops nearby. But Spidey webs it up, manages to break it open because he knows it's not a robot. It's a suit of armor. Someone's just controlling it. And it's this a chubby dude who claims that Taco Gong, the restaurant he's attacking, is serving frost giant meat and has been since the end of the War of the Realms, because the head of the CEO of Taco Gong went to Jotunheim, presumably, and bought a bunch of dead frost giants. Miles tells him to shut, to basically, ask him where he got a Mandroid suit, which I'm kind of hoping this leads to a upcoming plot point, Rubicon resellers, which, thinking about it, Rubicon reseller. Taskmaster recently had to deal with the Rubicon trigger, which was S.H.I.E.L.D. related. So, but yeah, that guy's going to a Taco Gong truck, and Spidey swings off. But a couple little girls lost their dog, so he's got to help. He's got to help them. He helps them find their dog. But his phone's dead, so he can't text Starling and say, "Hey, I'm running a little late. I want to change and wash up." But he makes it to her. He apologized. They meet on a rooftop, and he apologizes for being late. And he apologized. He said he was going to change before they met up. Just got caught up in something, and then his phone died. And she's just like, "Hey, same, absolutely, same here." So she's in costume still too. But they kiss. However, their kiss is being watched by Taskmaster through the scope of a sniper rifle, which is always a promising thing. And that's where that story ends. We next get a little side story. Miles ended up on a Sunday Night Live show. Watching the videos of his of the sketches he was in, this is how he learned to not write, not to read the comments. But there's little nods to various Spider-Man things throughout. He even fights Leapfrog. He's even fighting Leapfrog, and there's a whole bunch of hot dog vendors, and it's kind of recreating a lot of the some of the stuff from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies with people saying, "You mess with Spider-Man, you mess with all of New York," that kind of thing. And Spidey and Leapfrog agree that they'll take 5 and pick back up in Jersey. But apparently Miles likes going to Times Square because he gets recognized as Spider-Man, but not as real Spider-Man. There are apparently a lot of people that dress up as superheroes in Times Square and in the Marvel Universe as well. And but yeah. Because the best part of the job is the stuff that people don't usually see. Not the saving people is good. Don't the saving people is good, but what's really great is helping. The helping, like the small things, inspiring people. Our final story is that 10 years in the future, Miles stops a crew from breaking into a warehouse. Convinces them to step off. Kind of goes over, lists of people he's gone out, and we get some things of what's going to happen, what's to come. Squared up with Taskmaster, Queen Goblin, Zip Zafir, Black Obsidian, a whole lot of other people. But he talks about, but there's a little girl who's going to try and stop them too, and she didn't at least try, She had to at least try, right? And so Miles regales her, with the saying that the OG Spider-Man had, and talks about what it really means. With great power comes great responsibility, and it's hinted that something happens to Peter at some point. Because Miles says that he was the little girl's age, and he's thrown out the OG Spidey before he, and he's like, before he, well, you know what happened. But yeah, he swings off, and that is where the issue ends. I'm not putting a lot. While I'll put some stock in the idea of there being. Clearly, we're getting a Miles versus Taskmaster arc, but and yeah, okay, Goblin Queen, Zip Zafir, Black Obsidian. Yeah, I can definitely see all of those being. That's probably one of those things of a little files we made. Okay, these are names we'll be using for Miles Morales villains, for new Miles Morales villains coming up. But yeah, it was a good issue. Nice little. The A story is very much a to set. To kind of whet the appetite for our next story, which will be featuring Taskmaster. The B stories were just fun little slice of we get a fun little slice of life story with Miles, and we get a little future story with Miles. So, which will probably never come to fruition because that's superheroes don't age. Past a certain point, they don't age. Miles might go off to college. That's about. But as long as Peter Parker is still around, yeah, he's not gonna get much older as a character. He'll still be a big deal, and he'll still be Spider-Man. But yeah. But anyway, so we'll. But there's also various other characters that we'll have that likely won't age, so therefore Miles won't age. But yeah, still good issue. I enjoyed it. Generally speaking, Miles Morales is always a good read. So anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Black Cat number 10, which sadly is the last monthly issue of the series again. Like seriously, people, why aren't you reading this book? It's great. Come on. Anyway, so where we left off, Black Cat had managed to recruit both Overtime and Star into her Infinity heist, claiming that that she needed their help to kidnap an AIM scientist for a client who may or may not be Doctor Doom, and she promised to protect her from Nick Fury. Next on the list, though, is Quantum, who has the Space Stone. She's actually not. She does not have a high opinion of Quantum because, sure, Star almost killed a bunch of people. Over time, did kill someone, but he didn't mean to. Quantum, however, kidnaps kids, and in fact, this is the guy that kidnapped Miles Morales for the Assessor. So yeah, she doesn't have that high of an opinion of him, but she needs him. Doesn't talk either, so that kind of creeps her out. But they meet at a specific place. But as she puts it, sure, the spider has his spidey sense, as he calls it. Well, crooks have the same thing. Criminals know when they're being watched. Well, that sense goes off, and her and Quantum part ways, and she goes on the run from her. And it's revealed that she was being watched by Nighthawk, who tells her about the Heroes Reborn Earth. And including the fact that they used to be a couple, for a while at least. She was able to follow her to her god because he showed her. And he tries to sell her on helping him bring back his world with the Infinity Stones. But turns out that on the Heroes Reborn Earth, Black Cat's mom is dead. So that's all Felicia needs to hear to say, nah, no, not interested. Of course, while they're talking about the whole thing, Nick Fury shows up. Presuming that actually kind of thinking maybe they're working together. That's even worse. But Fury, when they split, Fury opts to follow Black Cat, but gets a text of someone with a rocket launcher and from Odessa Drake. A FIM-92 Stinger missile. It's enough to remind a man in a helicopter that they're not invincible. But Odessa does not appreciate having sticking her neck out for Felicia again. But then it turns out that Star is listening in. And the next day is when we're doing the job. However, Star says that tomorrow will simply be the beginning of things. But like I said, this is sadly the last issue of the series for the time again. Sadly, we don't have an upcoming Spider-Man adjacent crossover coming up for Black Cat to tie into. That said, who knows? Maybe she'll get a one-shot to tie into Devil's Reign. Bring us to our next book, Extreme Carnage Omega. Where we left off, it was revealed that Carnage was not possessing Senator Crane, but rather Senator Crane's son. Everything was building up to the big finale. Agent Anti-Venom, Silence, Toxin. We're all in DC, ready to take down Carnage and his micro hive. And so, at the Friends of Humanity event, the senator gives his speech. It should also be noted that Flash Thompson's buddy inside, Hank, was seemingly killed last issue. However, Turns out that Hank is unknowingly the host of the sleeper symbiote. So the odds just got upped a bit. But Sleeper takes down Riot. The senator's son, as well as communications director, lock the exits of the arena that the rally is being held at. But I think that's the senator's son. But the senator is giving his speech, and then Carnage runs him through and rips him apart. Carnage, Lasher, Agony, Phage, they're all going up against the going against guardsmen, they're going against security, and everyone there. But Toxin, Silence, and Antivenom arrive. And we learn that the Carnage symbiote actually kind of likes his new host. Turns out that the senator's kid, well, he's got some similar hobbies to Cletus. Started with animals, then a few homeless people, even a few classmates and girlfriends over the years. Dear old dad was always there to clean up the mess. But Iron Man then shows up in his extrembiote suit, which, yeah. You know how I constantly refer to certain characters who are supposed to be really smart as the dumbest smart person ever, or the smartest dumb person? Yeah, that's kind of where Iron Man's at right now. Dumbest smart person in the world. Carnage basically the Carnage symbiote is able to exert a degree of control over the extrembiote armor because Tony doesn't get it. You can't just put something like that on. You have to bond with it. But Carnage is at least to a degree defeated, but the symbiote escapes with Agony and the extrembiote armor, leaving Phage and Lasher holding the bag. The senator's son swears that the things that the Carnage symbiote said weren't true. They're lying about him. It's not true. But Flash says that, you know, asks if Hank is cool with him calling upon him again, and he's like, yeah, that'd be fun. Just don't know how much help I'll be, because Hank is unaware still that he's just host to a symbiote. Dr. Steven the Alchemax has the Life Foundation symbiotes, once they were able to recapture, contained, at least for now. But Bren, Toxin's host, doesn't believe that they'll stay that way forever. And to be fair, Flash and Andy Benton, the host of Silence's host, do actually kind of agree with him. But the governor has appointed Crane's son to be his replacement. And while Bren does think that they won, claim that they won, Flash says, no, we didn't win. People are even more paranoid than ever because of this. So, yeah. Look, what could have happened? We could have had, you know, this. So, yeah, things are just going to get worse. And it turns out that Arthur is trying to get Gemma, Agony's host, to bring the Carnage symbiote back to him. Apparently he misses being host of the symbiote. But she does say that Carnage thinks that Arthur can still be useful. And she asks, if it's true, can he? And he says, yes, he can be, and he'll do anything Carnage wants. And that is where the issue ends. Extreme Carnage was a fun story overall. Had some neat points. I actually kind of liked the. I didn't much care for the whole for turning Scream into Silence, but well, yeah. But yeah, overall, fun story. Nothing spectacular. It's a little hard to follow up something like King in Black with something like Extreme Carnage. So yeah, I didn't have the highest of hopes, but it was still fun. I still enjoyed it. We're going to our next book, Darkhawk #2, where we left off. Connor Young, a promising basketball player in Woodlawn, New York, was diagnosed with MS and would eventually find the Darkhawk amulet. He put it to use and stopped a heist from going wrong, and he's doing some, making a few notes about things. Like, apparently when he Darkhawks up, he's shorter. But his dad called him down. He got it. Basically, this is his first time having to do inject his meds himself, and it does not. It's kind of painful. But his dad's also trying to make sure that he'll still have a job. And, But Connor goes to talk with his buddy Derek, who is part of the crew that Darkhawk busted up the previous night. They pass by where Darkhawk roughed up Derek and his crew, but they're going to but they see a line at a shoe store for a shoe brand, and so they go to check it out. Also in line are Miles Morales and Gank, but Derek points out that he's with Connor Young, and But yeah, so that gets him some preferential placement. Gang suggests maybe they could do the same with Miles, huh? But so later on they get their shoes, but they're mugged and they're stolen. So Derek goes to get them back. Darkhawk then shows up and is like, no, because the muggers pull guns on Derek. So Darkhawk shows up to save the day, takes down the muggers. But then Derek shoots Darkhawk. And Connor reveals the truth, that he is Darkhawk. And they argue about things. And Derek says, hey, I need the amulet. Like, I need it. Because, yeah, bad things happen to me if I don't get it to my boss. Then SpiderMan shows up, Miles, and having heard everything, and he's like, everything okay? And since Connor isn't Darkhawked up, is just two guys, they got mugged, but everything's better now. So, but that night Derek goes to talk to the person he's running a crew for, and say, yeah, he can't do the Darkhawk thing. It's just not doable. But he's at least being smart. He's at least being good enough to not say who Darkhawk is. However, the real brains behind everything puts a bullet in Derek, and then another one. And that is where the issue ends. So aside from the horribly misleading cover, I mean, Spider-Man barely appears in the issue at all. It's still a fun issue. I actually want to see Darkhawk actually interact as Darkhawk with anyone else in the Marvel Universe in this miniseries. Hopefully we'll get that. Moving on to our next book, we've got Amazing Fantasy #3. Where we left off, the various tribes are preparing for war. So, Black Widow and Prince Ren go to speak with Chrome Dren at his moon base about the Drums of War. But Chrome Dren won't help. Steve Rogers is trying to get the cat people ready for battle, and they're just some of them just. It takes some, it takes more than just training. It takes, kind of just saying, hey, you can do this. You might not think you can, but you can. And then Peter's helping with the taming of the dragons with a dragon rock at Ren's royal palace. Captain of the guard tries to flirt with Black Widow, and she reveals that the assassin that she saved the prince from was hired by the captain of the guard, and she volunteers to lead his forces into battle. And so all the tribes, the orcs, the cat people, all of the tribes come together. And everything goes sideways. Cap gives a rousing speech. The orcs are like, nope, war. So, yeah. One of the tribes has access to guns, and, well... But... Cap was trying for a diplomatic end of things, but that's clearly not going to be the case, so... to battle. Everything goes wrong. Everything just... yeah, it's just a massive battle, and... in the midst of it... Uncle Ben tosses SpiderMan into the thick of things on the ground from a dragon. And then the dragon flies up and spews fire onto the battlefield. And that is where the issue ends. That was not how I expected that to go. Still, interesting stuff. Very much in keeping with the idea that Peter Parker, Spider-Man was introduced in the 60s, the early 60s. As there are mentions of Uncle Ben recognizes Cap from the war, and even states that Spidey should have seen Cap in the trenches. But anyway, that's to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.